Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Cooking Nuts, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a samosa recipe that was asked by so many people over my Instagram page when I posted the reel of me making samosas, and I decided that today I'm going to be sharing the detailed video. So I'm going to first request you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and for my returning viewers, my returning subscribers, you are here. You know how much I treasure you, and thank you so much. You guys are making me and you're building me, and I refuse to take that for granted. So join the family if you haven't. After this video, run over to Instagram, join the family there. Let's get personal. Without wasting too much time of yours, my darlings, let's get started. So we're going to be using about 3 or 4 ingredients for our samosa wraps. So we're starting to work on the dough, and I have flour. I'm going to be using some salt, water, and some oil. Basic. I'm not adding in anything like how we do chapati, but also this particular dough can do chapati. So I'm not measuring as usual, because if your ancestors are asleep, at least keep your eyes on the prize. Know that the dough should come out this way, and don't use too much flour now. Don't make the whole thing if you're not sure you're going to have people to eat all those samosas. But anyways, knead your dough until it's this well combined. And if you can't knead from down, if you don't have a worktop that you can knead from, you can just do like this in your hands. And yeah, I prefer putting my multi-purpose flour doughs aside for a few minutes because it gives it time for the gluten to develop, and then it's a bit more softer and easy to work with. You can just do it directly from, kneading, and then off you go to the fire, but I prefer that particular way. And then I'm going to be working on the filling. I'll be using some garlic and onions, and then I'll be using beef, ground beef, and I usually prefer to have my beef minced. When I'm saying, like, when I go to the butcher, I ask the guys who are selling meat or whoever I buy meat from if there's someone who minces meat in the market. There is always someone who is doing that particular job. And buying from the supermarkets and stuff, sometimes these guys mince meat and it stays for some time in the freezer, and usually when you reach home and you also keep it, and then by the time you thaw it, and it has this particular scent or flavor it gives, it's really annoying. So whenever I'm going to do, I just go and buy my own meat and mince it, and I'm sure what I even have coming home. So anyways, I'm not going to be doing another samosa video anytime soon, or wraps video anytime soon, because it's a matter of just switching from beef to chicken to whatever filling you prefer, vegetables, and season them the way you prefer. Really, life is so simple. We just want to make it hard. But yeah, it's basic. Once you understand how to do these ones, you practice and you're perfect at it, you're good. You don't need another now chicken samosas, so and so samosas. You can just follow the same recipe and twist it how you please. So I'm going to put my ground beef on my very gorgeous glass pan. If you're wondering if it's not going to burst, no, it won't. It won't. But anyways, I'm going to cook down this ground beef until all the water is down. The reason I season it immediately is because the salt helps me pull out this water, and I'm going to keep it on low heat until all of it is dry and my beef is almost golden brown. And that is also more flavorful, more fragrant. And then I'll go in with my chopped vegetables. You can add in carrots. You've bought these samosas, beef samosas, that are more carrot samosas than beef. Yeah, this is the stage. Just add in whatever vegetables you want. If you don't have enough beef and you want to increase the filling, or you want to make more samosas, this is it. I'm only seasoning with cumin because I love how cumin elevates the flavor of stuff, and some black pepper. Yeah, and that's it. I'm going to cover and let that moisture or that steam hit the onions and garlic, and they release their goodness into the beef, and garnish with coriander or dhania, or whichever name you prefer or you usually use, cornmeal. And that's it. The filling is done. I'm just going to remove the fire and leave it there, and then I'm going to go on ahead and make my samosa wraps. Now this is where the work is. The video is not going to help you, see all the process, but I'm giving you the basics. But it's the ghetto, it's the work. So I'm sure you can see how soft now the dough is. It's no longer like flaky, and I'm just going to squeeze it into this small thing and have these small balls that are really small. And if you don't have a working surface that is like wide enough and a pan that is wide enough, it's better you do these small ones, because if you do bigger ones and you roll them out, they are going to be so huge that your pan will not be able to contain them. This is like homemade, not commercial, so I have a small pan. And yeah, so roll out each ball, and once they are all rolled out, or you can just be rolling one by one, go on ahead and oil them on one side and then dust them with some flour, and roll out the second ball, same size, and put it on top of the one that you just oiled and dusted with flour. And if you're not a star already like me, you're going to be doing 2-2. If you're a star like some of these other guys who already mastered the art, you can do this, add on more oil, put flour, add another layer, and then you can roll out like 4, 5, 6, 7, up to whatever amount you can go. And yeah, so roll the 2 layers separated by oil and flour, and once it's this thin, you'll transfer it to a hot pan on low heat. Preferably there are those flan pans that are like edgeless. They don't have this kind of cup at the end that limit you, and those are better. So, but I don't have one yet, but that won't mean that I won't be making samosas any of this time. That's why I roll only 2 and smaller ones. And yeah, let it bubble on low heat, darling, on low heat, completely low heat. So I'll stay around and let it bubble up, and once it starts bringing these bubbles, it means that the lower part is almost good. So I'll just hold on the sides and separate them, and then flip and have the other one also on the side of the fire. And yeah, you have your wraps. You can make burritos, you can make any wraps with this one, or you can make the samosas or tea bites, the chips, whatever you can make out of this. I'm going to be cutting them in a perfect circle, and I'm using one of the plates. Everything here depends on what you're going to do. Some people prefer huge samosas, so you will need to use a huge flan pan and roll out huge balls of the dough. So these can actually, we are going to fry them and just snack on them while the samosas get ready. And now we have our wraps. You can also freeze these in Ziploc bags and use them later, or you can just do them immediately like I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to cut them into half and then quarter, depending. Samosas are not supposed to be so big, but as usual, for us people from the village, we love good big things and making extra money. So instead of making samosas for 200, we're going to be making samosas for 5,000. So you're going to need to do bigger ones. And the sheets are like that, done and dusted. Not so hard like I had said, but also needs a little bit of patience and the right equipment. So once our filling is done, our samosa wraps are done, we're going to go on and make our glue. So it's basically water and multi-purpose flour, and we are just going to mix this into not a slightly thick paste. Okay, a little bit runny, not so thick like dough and not so loose like water, more like pancake batter. Yeah, that's it. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet at this stage, you're really a hard one to crack. Anyways, I'm just still begging you to subscribe. It helps me grow, and that is what I'm here for. And yeah, sharing some of the recipes, helping you also learn, so you can also help me back by letting me reach more people and grow. Thank you. So anyways, we're going to be holding that middle part facing you, and then bring one corner to the center, put the glue that we made, just flour and water, and then put the other side, and then we have our pockets. We can fill in with our filling. Make sure it presses up to the lower part, and make sure that the edges are completely sealed so that they do not allow in oil just in case you're going to deep fry them, because that is the most common way people make samosas. So make sure that the edges are sealed off, and if they are not, touch there with the glue, it will seal them off for you. And continue until all the wraps are done or all the filling is done, and you're good. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to be making this in the air fryer as usual. The oven is it consumes now a lot of time. Nowadays, if I'm not baking cake, I'm not going to be using it anymore or casually. So I'm putting some of this in the air fryer, and then I'm brushing some oil, because remember, this is dry heat, so I need some little bit of crunch. Instead of using too much oil on them, I'm just going to put there a small brush and like oil wash, and put them in there and let them go for about 15 minutes. Yeah, about 15 minutes. It's heat from down and up, so I don't need to like flip them, and they'll be good in a minute. But also for my people, I'm going to be deep frying a few so that you can see the difference. Actually, the temperature is at 180. No, I've put it at 200, and they are going to be in there for about 12 to 15 minutes. And good, because the filling is already cooked. All I need is some, flaky coating or wrap. And in our cooking oil, I used corn oil, and once it heats up, it's a bit hot, I'm going to put in the samosas and make sure to flip before they are burnt, because the oil is not covering them fully. Man, oil is expensive. We are using small. Yeah, so as you can see, the samosas in the air fryer are a bit dry-ish, and the ones from the cooking oil have these bubbles and a bit soggy and wet from all the oil. So let it drip and you're good to go.